Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, about 5 topics for this video. The first one, Putin and Trump did not agree with Zelensky meeting. Did you know that? So in Anchorage, Alaska, during the meeting between Putin and Trump, they discussed a trilateral meeting or a bilateral meeting, only between Putin and Zelensky. According to the Russians, they did not agree to meet Zelensky. So I don't know why the newspapers, according to the Russians, claim that, hey, the Russians are, running away from it. They lie or anything like that. That's the first topic. The second one, when you want to unite people, you create a problem. The people must not know. Or even there is a problem, but you twist it in such a way that your leader is under threat, and something like this you don't do. In this case, Miss von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission's plane, was jammed by the Russians as it was trying to land in Bulgaria. And they had to use paper maps. But then the Russians said, no, that's a lie. Well, let's figure that out. Did you know that Bulgaria, that country, provided 1/3 of the European Union's weapons for Ukraine? I didn't know that. And I'm going to show you. And let's go to the last topic. The Poles are back at demanding reparations for the Second World War from the Germans. They dropped it at one point. I think it was 1.3, was it billion dollars or $1 trillion? I think it was $1 trillion. I don't know. We're going to find out here because the Poles want reparations again. The Germans, if you remember, they said, we paid that. Remember in the 60s and 70s. The Poles don't want to hear it. All right, because that's how friends are. Remember, today is the 1st of September, 2025. In the 1st of September, 1939, the Wehrmacht invaded Poland. Not because the Poland was a victim. The Poles negotiated with the Germans in bad faith. And again, the bitches from Great Britain guaranteed Poland that if Germany attacks you, we're going to come and fight Germany for you. Together, we're going to destroy them if we can. The French did the same thing. So the Poles had the guarantees that either way, the West will fight for them. And then, after they fought, the West gave Poland to some even worse scenario or situation. The Jewish Soviets. All right, let's start with the first one. What do I have here? Let me put it this way. Okay. Russia Today, 1st of September 2025. Putin and Trump did not agree on summit with Zelensky. Kremlin aide. Now, it's true that he can lie, right? But it's also true that he might not lie. Time will tell, right? The Russians and the US president discussed holding direct talks with Kiev, but no decision has been finalized, according to Yuri Ushakov. No deal has been reached between Russian President Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump on the former holding talks with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky or a trilateral summit. Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov stated on Monday. Speculations of a possible Putin-Zelensky meeting arose in light of Trump's talks with Putin in Alaska, after which the US leader claimed that he, and I'm going to begin the arrangements for such a meeting, which might later expand into a 3-way summit. Speaking on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit in China on Monday, Ushakov confirmed that Putin and Trump had discussed raising the level of the negotiating teams for a direct talk between Moscow and Kiev, but stressed that no decision has been finalized. And I'm quoting, "What the press reports is not what we agreed on. They often talk about trilateral meeting, about a meeting between Putin and Zelensky, but there was no agreement on this between Putin and Trump, Ushakov said. He added that while the US delegation promised specific proposals on such a meeting in Alaska, none have yet been made. The issue, he noted, remains under discussions. Well, that's the way it is, my friends. What's going on here? And again, the Russian leader stressed that any potential Ukraine peace deal would only hold if the root causes of the crisis are eliminated. That means NATO expansion. He reiterated that one of the main causes of the conflict was the West's attempt to drag Ukraine into NATO, which represented a direct threat to Russian security. That's it. Koniec filma. Next one. Plane carrying the European Union leader, top leader, she's the leader, targeted by alleged Russian GPS jamming. She's the leader. Oh my God, look at that face. Jesus Christ. Not even in the dark, if you know what I mean. Well, that's what they do. Remember that evil guy called Adolf? It was in 1933, if I remember correctly, it was the Reichstag fire. And the Nazis claimed that it was, remember the Nazis were in charge of a coalition government in Germany because then Adolf was legally appointed by, what's his name? I always forget his name. Lichtenberg, whatever his name is, the president of, who was a military guy. He was appointed as a chancellor, and eventually he was legally the chancellor because the Nazis got about 33% of the vote. So then when the Reichstag fire occurred, the Germans, the Nazis, claimed that that was done by the communists, and based on that, they banned all other political, Lambert, I can't remember his name, I'm going to be stuck with that one, and they banned any other parties, and so on. So they took power. Hitler declared that he's the Führer, he's not the chancellor only, and so on. So, and attacks on individuals always promote individuals to a higher level, like for instance of approval. Like remember Trump when he was shot at during that assassination attempt, remember, grazed and so on. Everybody was, oh my God, look at that guy, fight, fight, fight. Okay, so we have this moment here, fight, fight, fight for this woman. That's what they say. A plane carrying the European Commission president. Remember, European Commission president, she's not elected by the European citizens. Von der Leyen was targeted by GPS navigation jamming while trying to land in Bulgaria on Sunday. I will show you the map. A spokesperson for the Commission told CNN. All right. The Kremlin had denied the allegation, with spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, the Financial Times, which first reported on the story, "Your information is incorrect." Well, if it was correct, I wouldn't mind. Von der Leyen's plane forced to land using paper maps during the suspected Russian GPS jamming. Oh my God, BMW right there. Oh, and claims of Russian GPS blocking of von der Leyen plane false. And this is according to Flightradar. And here's Flightradar. The European Union earlier accused Moscow of blatant interference and of subjecting the aircraft to electronic jamming. Well, she's alive, so it doesn't really matter. If she would have just, would have been different. Right now, oh my God, I don't give a shit, okay? Flight tracking website, Flightradar 24, has refuted allegations made by several media outlets that EU officials, the plan of European Commission was subjected to GPS signal jamming. The aircraft that carried her showed good GPS signal quality along its entire route, the monitoring service wrote on X on Monday. The flight arrived only 9 minutes later than scheduled, the service said, noting that some media reports erroneously claimed that the aircraft was in a holding pattern for 1 hour. The aircraft's transponder reported good GPS signal quality from takeoff to landing, it added. Well, I don't know. What do you think? I think they're trying to muster all kind of empathy for her, for the good people in charge of us, and for the Ukrainians always. Tragedy occurs in Ukraine, but tragedy is because of these guys started the garbage. You know who those guys are? You know exactly who I'm talking about. And let's see what Bulgaria did. I didn't know this. Let me show you where these guys flew. Let me show you where Bulgaria is. Map of Europe. She probably got some from here somewhere in this area. From Belgium, probably Brussels, whatever. He flew right here to Bulgaria. And this is, if you see it, by the Black Sea, by Crimean Peninsula. So they said that that plane must have been jammed in this area, whatever. She flew from, remember, Belgium, I'm guessing, to Bulgaria. Right there, this is where it occurred. And she landed in Sofia, I'm assuming. But when she landed over there, Ukrainska Pravda. Bulgaria has provided a third of the European Union weapons for Ukraine. Did you know that? Did you know that? I didn't. And this is what she said. Von der Leyen said, Bulgaria has an exceptionally strong tradition in the defense industry. Here, and I'm quoting, you produce large quantities of ammunition and explosives that support Ukraine and its fight for freedom. Oh my God, we're the good people. Since the beginning of the war, 1/3 of the weapons used by Ukraine have come from Bulgaria. Von der Leyen emphasized that Putin has not changed and will not change. Why? Because you say so? He's got big balls and he's going to slap you over your ugly face. All right, so this is what she said at the beginning. She stressed that Bulgaria has supplied 1/3 of the weapons the European Union has provided to Ukraine since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion. So Bulgaria made a kill financially. But no, they're indebted. Why? And we have these beggars right here. Why as beggars? What do you expect? Do you think the Germans will pay you anything? If they're weasels, they will. New voice of Ukraine. Polish President Nawrocki urged Germany to pay World War II reparations to Poland. Or what? It always comes down to or what. Warsaw will demand reparations from Germany during events marking the 86th anniversary of World War II outbreak. Polish President Well, they call September 1st as being the outbreak of the World War II. I have to remind you that it was not the outbreak of the World War II September 11. I'm sorry, September 1st. But it was only a war between two countries. So Germany attacked Poland. It was one-on-one. There is not a regional war. This is not beginning of the World War. The World War started when the Brits declared war on Germany, and then everything started perpetuating. And then the France declared war on Germany, and so on. That's when Great Britain dragged everything else in. Before that, it was one-on-one. It could have stopped there, but it didn't. Why? The guys in charge of Great Britain, like the guys in charge of the United States of America and Great Britain right now, and Germany and France right now, are still at it now against the Russians. Why? Because the Russians kicked them out. They didn't allow them to subjugate them as servants, as they did to us, with our media, with their Hollywood, politicians, and all that. I don't have to tell you who vetoes all kind of United Nations Security Council's resolutions, condemning famine in Gaza. I don't have to tell you. Yeah, it's United States of America. Why? I wonder why. So let's see what this guy has to say. I think it was $1.3 trillion. Was it? I think so. The reparations. And the Germans said, we paid them in the 60s and 70s, remember? I'm quoting, to build a partnership based on truth and good relations. Okay, I will tell you about the truth and good relations. We must resolve the issue of reparations from Germany, which I, as President of Poland, demand for the common good. Well, if I'm common good, you should go to jail, because you're an idiot, he said, and I'm going to explain why. This president noted that reparations would not be an alternative to historical amnesia. But Poland needs justice, truth. Oh, truth, justice, stay strong and stay smart. Good, thank you very much. You're not an idiot anymore, you're smart. And clear relations with Germany. All right. I believe the Prime Minister and Polish government will support the President's voice on the international stage, and together with our Western neighbors, we will build our truly safe future. All right, man. Excellent. Good for you. Do I have anything here? No. All right, let me tell you this. Well, he talked about amnesia. I'm glad he talks about that. Will Poland pay Czechoslovakia, or the Slovaks, or the Czechs in this case, any reparations? Will Poland pay Romania any reparations? Will Poland pay, I don't know, Ukraine any reparations? Russia any reparations? Hungary any reparations? Remember, because these guys like to go back only as far as they like. I would like to go with Poland to year 1400. And in 1400, the Poles were invading other countries to plunder, conquer, and subjugate. Romania, or Moldova at that time, was one of these guys. So all the killings, the rapings, the looting, we want them back with interest. Please. And when Poland got to Romania, to Moldova, let me show you the map, they had to go over other countries, other nations, which again they plundered, they killed. So will they pay reparations? Let me show you the map, right? Since you read the map. We're not going to leave amnesia. We're not going to have amnesia, will we? Poland, little Poland right here. You see, to get here to Moldova, right here, they had to fight these guys right here. Now, remember Slovakia and Czech Republic? Now, this was Czechoslovakia right here. In 1938, I think it was, these guys had a deal. Remember, you all know about Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, secret pact between the Soviets, not the Russians, the Soviets and Germany. Remember? Okay. And they said, we're going to partition Poland and Romania. We're going to give Romania. We have no interest over there. The first stab in the back by Germany against Romania. So when Romania kicked them in the balls, they did it because these guys sold us into the Soviet Union. Not aware of that? Keep reading or listening to me. So Germany and Poland had an agreement before the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. They had an agreement, in which was when the Germans are going to go in here for the Sudetenland that they claimed right here, all right? And eventually they went all the way here to the border right here. The Poles entered Czechoslovakia with their military and grabbed illegally two domains of Czechoslovakia. Will they pay reparations to Czechoslovakia, to Czech Republic, Slovakia? Will they do that? No, they won't. Why? So you see, they were with Germany, with Nazi Germany, in cahoots before Germany was with Soviet Union. So, if we're talking about amnesia, I come from Romania. I need some Polish money. Come on, Polish American, give me the money. You know who I'm talking to. Don't call me. All right, my friends, just kidding. I mean, if we go by that, how far back can we go? Don't you think that each and every country has some grievances against another one? Unless you think, because you're a narcissist, that you can demand, oh, you hurt me one time. Big time. I'm not saying that big time. But hey, will you ask, for instance, Israel for reparations? I'm asking Poland. After all, Soviet Union invaded you and cut you in two. Will you ask Israel? You say, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Well, again, keep reading, or listen to me. Or will they ask reparations, for instance, from Great Britain? Because after all, Great Britain, United States of America, the free world, sold you into slavery into Soviet Union. They did it. Reparations? I mean, you had a shitty life. You became communist because those guys dropped you in the camp of those guys. And then you ask the Israelis for reparations. So you see, my friends, it's amnesia can't work only one way and selectively. If you are for truth, he said, and justice. All right? I need my money. I want to send you my accounts, because it's going to be so much money that I need big fucking fat accounts so I can get all the Polish money coming in. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.